This is my second time recording this video because I forgot to put up one part. Just one part. I forgot one part of the script. Now the video is going to be a day late. This is the GMMK Pro from Glorious. It is a 75% gasket mounted hot swap board with a rotary encoder using an alu case and an alu plate. You also have the option of getting an extra brass or polycarbonate plate. You have the color options of black slate or white ice, and rotary encoder color options of black, white, and gold, even though the white is not really white but silver. But anyways, the group buy for this board was announced back in November 2020, and people were freaking out over the fact that this keyboard was a gasket mount, 75%, had a rotary encoder, and cost $170. Even I was amazed by how this was even doable, but being that GMMK is a pretty big company, though not as big as the likes of Corsair, Logitech, and so on, it's still bigger than the people who are just doing group buys from their homes and looking for vendors to sell their boards. Now, while I felt like, wow, this is just the most nuttiest thing I've seen, I'm just getting into the hobby, I still felt skeptical about the board. Now, we move into late January, a month away from the boards being shipped out, and Glorious decides to do a stream build of the GMMK Pro. Now, this stream actually brought a little bit of controversy, meaning that they brought on Switch and Click. It doesn't really do keyboard content via stream, but makes YouTube key content. I didn't really see much of a problem with that, but from what I've heard, she was doing some weird stuff when some viewers were asking her to test stabilizers, and they said she wasn't doing it properly and stuff like that. I don't know. Then sometime in February, Glorious does another stream with Alex Sotos, who is a Twitch keyboard streamer. Viewers say that the build that Alex Sotos provided sounded better, but a lot of the things talked about seemed ungenuine. That might not be the right word, but it seemed like Alex Sotos wasn't saying his full part, being that it was on Glorious' stream and he was provided the board. I'm not hating on Alex Sotos, he's a great person. I just think Glorious' part in all this seems a bit suspicious, that's all. Anyways, moving on. I didn't buy the GMMK Pro. Thought about buying it, pre-ordered it, stuff like that. Canceled it because I knew the board wasn't going to sound good at all. That was just my assumption. But yeah, someone I knew who had the board on hand to let me use it, so shout out to him. He's a Keep streamer. I'll leave his information in the description down below. Inside the box, you are introduced to a little card, nothing really much on it. And under the foam, you have the case, alu plate, PCB, all put together. Plate foam is outside of the case because the guy I got it from to get out of the build. Under that, you have a sticker, papers, extra screws, extra gaskets, USB cable, keycap puller, switch puller. Also, the guy left a polycarbonate plate inside the build and not the alu plate, but yeah, alu plate is supposed to be in the board and not the polycarbonate. He also bought an extra rotary encoder. I didn't open it purely because I didn't need to. The build process for this board is pretty easy. You just take the 8 screws out the bottom case, unplug the daughter board from the PCB. Definitely don't forget that part. You gotta be careful with that one. That daughter board connector is a very delicate thing. And you're pretty much ready to configure it to your liking. The board also comes with goat stabilizers, Glorious's own version of screw-in stabilizers. I heard from a few people that the stabilizers were shit, but when I tried them, they weren't that bad. They aren't smoother than the likes of Duroc V2s or C3 equal stabs, but they aren't shit. So you have the option of plate foam, case foam, and screws that bring the plate and PCB together. You can configure it so that you have only plate foam, only case foam, both plate foam and case foam, adding screws and all that bullshit, or just no foam or screws at all. For me, being the idiot and weirdo that I am, I provided you guys with the sound test to all of these configurations except for the screw ones. The only screw one that I did was the case and plate foam with screws. Couldn't be bothered with doing a screw option for each one of the other things. So yeah, here's the sound test for alu plate and polycarbonate plate, case foam, plate foam, case and plate foam, and case plate foam and screws using banana splits, lubed with Crytox 205 grade 0, and spring lubed with 105 GPL, Desky films for the alphas, numbers, and mods, and Glorious Pandas, lubed with Tribosis 3203, spring lube with 105 for the function row, side nav, arrows, control, windows, and alt. For me, when it came to the alu plate build, the best sounding and best feeling out of all the configurations was the one with plate and case foam. I don't know what it is, but the aluminum plate is just not good with banana splits. And the Glorious Pandas, they're really loud. Like for me, they're so loud that I don't think the switches felt good on the board. It's weird, but if the switches sound bad, it feels bad. I just don't think the board with alu plate is good for tactiles. All other configurations, I don't know what it is, but the feel of the board makes the switches feel more grittier. Doesn't make sense, but just know that I think the best configuration for the alu plate is case and plate foam. Even though plate foam really muffles out the sound of the switch, it's just the best sounding out of all the other ones. Now onto the polycarbonate plate. This is a plate to go with. Sound and the feel of the keyboard improved significantly in my opinion. Best configuration for the polycarbonate plate for me will be either the case foam and polycarbonate plate, or the plates and case foam and polycarbonate plate. Banana splits definitely feel better on the polycarbonate plate, and the Glorious Pandas, they feel better and sound better on the polycarbonate plate as well. Honestly, if you're getting the GMMK Pro, get a PC plate and just dump the alu plate. That thing is trash. The flex on this board isn't really there. The gasket mount implementation is pretty stiff. Removing the screws that were connecting the PCB and plate, the flex is non-existent still. And then I thought maybe the foam between the plate and PCB is doing this. Remove that and still no flex. Sounds better, but no flex. What I think the issue here is that there are too many mounting points on this board that it practically just becomes a sandwich mount board. There are too many mounting points. If you're willing, and I know I'm not because of the fact that this is my board, you could try and take some of the mounting points off the board, maybe the ones near the rotary encoder, escape, aero cluster, left control, and if possible some of the side mounting points as well. I'm not guaranteeing this will work, but if you want that gasket mounting feel and you are willing to cut up the plate, you can go ahead and try cutting some mounting points off the plate. Now here's the question: would I recommend this board? Maybe. Firstly, this board is only $170. That is great. Value you're getting for this board is amazing if you really consider the keyboard hobby. You're getting a form factor that is not commonly made, has a rotary encoder, hot swappable, and gasket mounted. But not really gasket mounted. They fucking ticked all the goddamn buzzwords, man. This is definitely an entry board that is worth the price in my opinion. Would I buy this myself if I was getting started in the hobby? Hell yeah. This is a good board for new people in the hobby to try out, since they are introduced to a unique mounting method. Not the best implementation of the method, but still showing them the gasket mount, hot swappable, where beginners can try out different types of switches to see which switch fits their needs. Now if you aren't new to the hobby and you know your way around, I wouldn't say that you shouldn't get this board, but you can for sure get better boards. I mean, you can't get better boards in this price range unless you talk about the C-Stock Phantom, but you could save the $170 from this board, put it somewhere else, that's for sure. Plus, this board is not the best gasket mounted board out there if you're looking for a gasket mounted board. In my opinion, I think it is worth for a person new to the hobby. Feel of the board, not the best, but it still feels pretty good for the price range it is set at. Plus, this board is going to be made as an in-stock board, which makes this one of the few boards that is pretty premium built and readily available for purchase. I think this is also one of the first boards that are in stock that is gasket mounted, but like I said again, not the best implementation, but still. But this board is definitely doing something right with placing it right into the competition with the KVD Fans Tofu boards and K65 boards, Kaneki Savage 65 and Brutal 60. They really just threw themselves into the competition. Honestly, if this came out a month after I joined the hobby, I would have been all over this board. Like, this board is like the KK75 that I have, but better by like 5 times. I still love my KK75 though. That's my baby. Overall, I think the GMMK Pro is a good entry-level board for people who want to try a 75% form factor, want a hot swappable board with an alu build, or a person that just wants to try out a so-so gasket mounted board. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. I have other keyboard content as well. If you like that content, hit that subscribe button. I also have a Twitch. I stream every Wednesdays and Fridays at 11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I also try to stream every now and then with a surprise stream. But yeah, here's a clip. Some of the things that I do over there. Little 60. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.